And we are live. How's it going, Mets fans, Yanks fans, whoever you're a fan of? It's your boy Wardy. That's Pat Hennessy. We're back at it with episode 2 of Bridging the Gap podcast, coming at you weekly, all off season long, talking all things Mets and Yanks, especially regarding topics that have to do with both these respective clubs. We're going to get into breaking down all the latest, highlighted by Yoshinobu Yamamoto being officially posted. Who has better odds currently at potentially landing Yamamoto? What could he bring to both these teams, along with plenty more? Then getting into Luis Severino. Is he going from the Bronx to Queens? We have to get into that. Pat has a lot to say on Severino and his tenure with the Yanks and how it could be with the Mets should they land him. Then getting into some bench coach updates for both the Yanks and the Mets, as the Mets are on the cusp of hiring someone sooner than later in that regard, most likely, as the names have been rolling out there. And for the Yanks, they have hired someone. So who is that? That's what we're about to get into. And of course, answering all your comments, questions, and concerns. So appreciate everyone first chiming in. Also do want to give a big shout out to my good friend Dave, who's a great supporter on the channel and an even better friend, for this awesome home run apple 7-line beanie that he sent my way. Dave, thank you so much, my friend. I've always wanted one of these, never had them, so greatly appreciate it. I'll be repping this all winter long. But enough of me talking. Shout out everyone watching live on a replay. Pat, how you doing today, you beauty?
I am doing fantastic, Wardy. We're back, episode 2 of Bridging the Gap. Screw everyone who thought, oh, we're done after one episode. We're here for a beautiful time. It's going to be a fun night. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Let's just get right into topic number 1, huh?
Let's get right into topic number 1. Before I do, though, Sean, thank you for the member 8 months. Appreciate that. LFGM, Yanks suck. There you go. Great start. Again, if you're a Yanks fan that comes across this as well, I understand that this is a Mets dominant channel. However, this will be a pretty split discussion when we have the podcast. So if you're a Yanks fan, do not hesitate from coming on in the comments down below or the live chat. We want to see banter back and forth. We want to see you guys talking smack, to be completely honest, because that's exactly what Pat and I will be doing every single week. So if it's completely different in the live chat, it's going to be a little odd. You know, we're bringing a different element to the game here with our weekly podcast. And we hope you guys have been enjoying it. Also, a thank you for how well we performed in our first show. We hit over 9,000 views just back on Thursday for the first episode. So greatly appreciate that, guys. Keep it coming. Really does mean a lot. But let's get into the first topic, right? Yoshinobu Yamamoto officially posted was yesterday. So starting 8 a.m. today, all clubs across baseball are able to finally talk to the coveted Japanese star. So since last time we spoke, which was on Thursday, Pat, over the weekend, we have heard a little bit more rumblings as to kind of like the likelihoods, who is looking like the best fits for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the potential of landing him. And what are we hearing? Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, New York Mets. So let me know currently how you're feeling on the Yamamoto front, knowing that teams can finally start talking shop with him.
Yeah, I mean, the way I view it is Yamamoto is a New York Yankee, right? The way I'm viewing it right now, Wardy.
Oh, so we're already starting with jokes early, I see. That's fantastic. Love to hear that.
We're no point wasting time here. If the Yankees want Yamamoto, he will be a Yankee. We talked about this a little bit last episode. It's like we already know he's so fascinated by the aura of the pinstripes and the history of the Yankees. He wants to don the Yankee cap, Wardy. We know this. So I'm looking at it, and while I said the same thing last episode too, he's like not my be-all, end-all of the offseason. If the Yankees sign him, beautiful, right? But I have my eyes set on Juan Soto. I have my offseason set on Juan Soto. So Yamamoto would just be like a nice little consolation prize. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, let's say you're going to prom, right? Wardy's going to prom. He doesn't have a date at the moment. And bang, he has his sights set on the most beautiful girl in the world, bro. And
you were there?
That's so nice. That makes me so happy. But you're not settling for the one that's mediocre, bro. You want the cream of the crop, and for me, the cream of the crop is Juan freaking Soto. And you know what? If I have to settle for an additional Yamamoto, I'll settle for it. But we'll see what happens.
I love how enamored you are with players that are never coming to the Bronx, starting with Juan Soto and then getting to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's hilarious. So let's talk about Yoshi. I know we'll get into Soto a little bit, as we're going to be doing every single week.
Do the thing.
Until we find out. Dude, what thing?
The Yoshi thing.
Yoshi!
There we go. Okay, cool.
Shout out if Yoshima's in the live chat too. Delightful, Kevin, Sean, Dave, all you members. Dave did just give you the shout out for the beanie. Again, thank you so much, brother. Happy to have you in here. Everyone watching live on a replay. Continue smashing that like and subscribe on too. If we get to 150 plus likes by the end of the live show, be greatly appreciated. People on replay, same applies. Smash those things and let us know your thoughts. Yamamoto, I'm really pumped up about. I've made this abundantly clear. It's honestly funny hearing your perspective regarding him, because I've heard so many fans that are Yanks fans or just, fans of either Red Sox, Cardinals alike, that will literally do the worst things imaginable to land Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And then we got this schmuck out here like, yeah, we get him, cool, but like I ain't losing any sleep over it. Like, this guy is a potential
Why,
like
you would?
next. Yeah, I really would. I cannot begin to tell you how much I love Yoshinobu Yamamoto and how talented he is. And a big factor in that certainly is the lack of certainty with him. I get excitement out of landing someone knowing that there's risk involved, but there's endless amount of potential, mainly looking at Kodai Senga. If the Mets didn't have the success that they just had this past year with him, I would not be feeling the same way that I do about Yamamoto. And of course, we can't compare these things, that they'll be the exact same situations, because that's not necessarily true. But what is true is that Yamamoto has been utterly dominant his entire career there in Japan. He's only 25. Even if you lock him up on, say, like an 8-year deal, he's going to be 32, 33 by the time that's done. I just witnessed a Mets team covering them the past 2 years that was signing guys 39, 40 years of age of $43 million a year for a couple of years. So, like, age, it doesn't get much worse than that. So if you bring in someone at his prime right now, is yet to hit his peak, sign me the hell up. So now that he's posted, we've already heard rumblings that the Yanks, of course, love what they see in Yamamoto. Brian Cashman loves this guy, which is hilarious that he may have slightly burned a bridge that we discussed last week in the first episode when discussing Giancarlo Stanton, who's also represented by the same agent that Yamamoto has. But to make sure to check that video out in case you haven't already, guys. But final kind of remarks I'll share at the moment with Yamamoto is, one, we know how much the Mets love this guy and they need him. You can make an argument that the Mets certainly need Yamamoto more in this rotation than, say, the Yanks do. And more than anything, this is a Mets team where how they project for 2024 and beyond, it very much fits the bill of what Yamamoto, I'm sure, is looking for at this point in his career to get his MLB kickstart career started. So there's a lot of things to look at with this right now. There are plenty of teams involved, but what we do also know is that this is not going to be maybe an overnight thing. There was initial belief that, okay, maybe Yamamoto, once he's posted, he may sign within the week. That is not going to be the case. According to reports from SNY, he will be dragging things out into winter meetings. He will not be attending winter meetings, and currently is not going to be attending Yanks Stadium, Citi Field, anything like that at the current moment, as teams are just in the early stages of really figuring out and formulating a plan to present to Yamamoto. And he's going to take his time with this. I don't think it'll drag too long, but just something that we're going to be following on over the next number of days to then weeks plus until we find out where he lands. Final thing I will say regarding Yamamoto, he's most certainly a guy that the Mets need. And I think if they do not land him, then in certain aspects, their offseason may in fact be a failure. Not guaranteeing it, but I think the Mets have a lot more on the line here should they lose out on Yamamoto than would be the case here with the Yanks. Would you agree or disagree with that assessment?
I would agree, but also at the same time, like I'm putting myself in Yamamoto's shoes, right? And maybe this is just like the egotistical Yankee fan in me talking. But let's say the contract that he's offered is basically the same amount from both teams, right? Why would he pick the Mets over the Yankees? Genuine question.
Why would he pick the Mets over the Yankees?
Yeah.
If, like, the factors, well, one, it's obviously money. I think the Mets
No,
will be
I'm saying let's say money was the same.
Oh, okay. If money was the same,
I can't see that being
Kodai
a scenario
Senga.
at all.
Kodai Senga. That
I don't
could
think
be.
the Yankees were in on Senga.
No. I'm saying what would be
Oh,
an X
because
factor.
of him. Got you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think Senga could play enough of a part in that regard. They know each other, of course. They were pitching together, not, of course, with the same team the entire time, but we're together there in the MPB. Senga has made it publicly known how much he wants him. And this isn't something that Japanese players are known to commonly do once they hit the States as well. There's this hierarchy issue that I'm sure you've heard about to a degree, where some Japanese guys, once they come to the States, do not love the idea of playing on a team that also has a Japanese pitcher. It's almost, I don't know how much is like hierarchy, ego type aspect going on, but Yamamoto did make it clear that is, not a non-factor for him. And what really helped change his mind was performing the World Baseball Classic. So I'm sure being with guys, all those respective teammates definitely didn't hurt getting that experience for a change. So having Senga is that X factor for the Mets, in my opinion. And not only that, seeing the success Senga had. It would be different if Senga was here, but say he had a very underwhelming rookie year. He was a Cy Young caliber pitcher in his first year with the Mets. So I think that in itself can be appealing. But of course, if we're basing things on history, then I don't need to say anything here. It's quite lopsided. Even based on recent success or lack thereof, he said it best. He's enamored by the idea of playing in pinstripes. Like, that is not a bad thought to him. And quite frankly, I don't blame him, understanding what it's like from an outsider's mentality that is not known for, following along maybe as much with what's going on in the States. Because the first thing I think of when you think of baseball, it's hard to not think about the Yanks or the Red Sox right away.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think the Senga thing is huge. I didn't even think of that, to be honest, because like I put myself in this dude's shoes, right? Let's say I'm going to Japan, dude, and you were on a specific team and be like, yo, I'm going to be where Wardy is because I'm going to be in a whole new country, whole new language, whole new culture. Like, I want someone like I can maybe relate to and like help show me the ropes a little bit. Like, I definitely think the Senga thing will be a huge factor for sure.
Yeah. So that's where we'll really leave things right now. To everyone watching, because we have north of 300 live viewers at the moment. People on replay, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. On Yoshinobu Yamamoto being officially posted, what do you think is the likelihood of him, say, landing in Queens or Bronx? Which one do you think is more likely between the two? Obviously, with the bias, I certainly do think the Mets have an upper hand here, but I'm not writing the Yanks out whatsoever, because as much as it was hilarious what went on with Cashman over the past week plus, there's no denying how much he likes him. He witnessed a no-hitter this year in person of Yamamoto. He has scouted him intensely over the past number of years. And the Mets not having Billy Epler around, who is very much the type to do that as is something to also make note of. While David Stearns seems to be very interested in Yamamoto, and over the past 2 weeks since Stearns was hired, was actually interviewed by Harold Reynolds on MLB Network. And when speaking on Japanese, MPB players as a whole, he did kind of single out Yamamoto Stearns without Yamamoto even being mentioned. And then Harold replied saying, kind of gotcha. Like, wasn't even talking about him per se. And then Stearns kind of sat back and was like, damn, like, okay, you got me. So there's clear interest from the Mets here in Yamamoto. That is real. And they have a lot to lose should they not land him. But whether they have the best likelihood or not still has yet to be seen. So, of course, let us know in the live chat, everybody, how you're feeling on that front. Tingus for the $2 haul says, Yamamoto to the Mets. Uncle Stevie got the bags. I would love Yamamoto and Juan Soto. Who wouldn't, right? And Soto is actually a guy we will be discussing very soon on the channel. Did discuss him in the past and, of course, on Bleacher Report over the past couple of weeks, but we'll expand on that. I will say this, though, as much as I want Juan Soto, I'm not going to sit here and act like the Mets have the best shot to land him right now, because I do not believe that is the case. As much as it hates me to say, I do think that the Yanks have a very realistic shot landing him. But the same Jeff Passan that has been gassing up the Yanks lately on that potential is also the same Jeff Passan who a month prior was saying that there's a scary possibility, a real scary possibility, that Steve Cohen goes out and lands Juan Soto this offseason. So what does that mean? Juan Soto is going to sign a $500 million extension with the San Diego Padres this offseason. So we'll see what happens on that front. Also, final thing before we get on to this, Pat Benson with $5 haul says, from one Pat to another, if the he meant to say Yankees there, but he butchered it a little bit just because he misspelled Yankees, Pat. It's okay. Suck. Give me a hell yeah. So everyone in the live chat, if you're a Yankee hater, on 3, give me a hell yeah. A 1, a 2, a 3. Yeah, you'll love to see it. Pat's like, get me off this miserable piece of shit one-side show right now. All right, Pat, it's your time to shine. Why? We're talking about Luis Severino. The Mets have interest. What's there to know?
Okay, so first of all, I feel like Mets fans have to be familiar with Luis Severino to some point at this point, right? I mean,
absolutely.
At one point, bro, Sevy was one of the top pitchers in baseball, right? I mean, you look back at like 2017, 2018.
Our high school days, baby. That's when he was carving up.
Fair enough. Fair enough, dude. It's like Severino was the Yankees' solidified ace. And then I would probably say since 2019, he's just really had injury problems. I can't remember the last full season he pitched where there were no health concerns. He's been in and out of the bullpen a few times. And 2023 was really just the icing on the cake for Luis Severino. An all-time worst season. He didn't even finish the year because he got hurt again. I want to say the ERA was close to 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Like 6.65 or so.
Yeah,
not nice.
Something wild like that. I tweeted out on numerous occasions throughout the 2023 season that I could pitch better than Sevy, and that kind of says a lot considering I probably throw like 55 on a good day. But on the flip side, I'm viewing it like he can't get any worse we might have seen the ceiling of Luis Severino in 2023. And the way I'm viewing it is like he just might be done with the Yankees, right? I wouldn't be shocked at all next year if he goes to a team like the Dodgers, like the Rays, maybe the Mets, and he somehow bounces back and returns to form. But that's like a dream scenario for the team he goes to and also for him. I think ideally this dude's kind of cooked, bro. I think that realistically it kind of looks like he's going to be a bullpen arm. I think if I were a team signing him, that might be where I kind of like test the waters. But also, yo, let's just say this, wherever he signs, it's most likely going to be a 1-year deal. If he signs with the Mets, I'll be shocked if they give him multi-years. So there's
Only if
no
there's
such
options.
sure. And but that's what it comes back to. It's like there's no such thing as a bad 1-year deal. So if you guys do take a risk with him and it doesn't work out, okay, like you release him in June, whatever. If
It's
it
funny you
works
say there
out,
isn't any bad 1-year deals. I present to you Carlos Carrasco. It's on his final year of his contract.
yeah, but
So,
okay. But like let's be fair though. It's like would you if you could have gone back in time, would you have not done it? You know what I mean? It's like I can't think of a 1-year deal
I
where
could
looking
I
back
could
on it,
make
it's
the
like
argument for not doing it, but he did have some solid starts in 2022, so it was justified to a degree. Just didn't deserve the amount of money he was making.
fair. But you as a Mets fan, would you
Yeah.
be comfortable with taking a 1-year flyer on Sevy to kind of just see if the Mets could fix him? If not, just kick him to the curb in the summer.
Flyer, absolutely. And you look at how thin this pitching market is. Normally, it wouldn't be as much of an issue, but problem is a lot of teams need pitching right now, right? And you bring up a really interesting point about his ability in the bullpen because Sevy very well could project best as a multi-inning reliever. And there are a lot of teams that are in need of guys that can kind of be toying in that position, especially a Mets team that very well could have a 6-man rotation next year should they go in and sign Yamamoto, because that is what's going to happen. So you want to add as much depth as you can. So a flyer, I'm not opposed to whatsoever. I think for me, it really comes down to Sevy is if the Mets are going to go and land him, one, hopefully those medicals are coming in clear enough that is going to warrant it. Two, you can see what potential you have in someone like him who outside of 2023 has been a very productive pitcher when he's been on the mound every single year. Even if he's been injury riddled, when he has pitched, he has been productive. He's usually around 10 plus K per 9 guy, but didn't even say 8 this past year in 20 starts because he just was not locating whatsoever. And when he was locating, he was throwing meatballs right down the dick. So like, and this is as someone who casually followed along with the Yanks this year, and I can only imagine what it was like for you. I felt like every single Sevy start, like that was the end, you know, like Cookie and
Yeah.
Sevy had a lot of similarities this year and just giving up like first inning bombs, and that was it. Your game was already done. So if us Mets fans want to go through a potential another similarity there, then of course let's go in and sign him. But I said it before, and not only in last night's live show, but in a previous video I did when initially discussing this report, I understand the pros and the cons completely to him. As long as you're not committing to him to be like your number 3 next season, but rather a guy competing for your number 5 spot, then I'm content with that. I don't think that's a big deal, right? I think that's
Yeah.
low to medium risk and then high reward, knowing that he's only 29 still. He has velo. He has a solid repertoire of pitches when he's right. It's just about getting him right. And my question to you is, as someone who's followed along Sevy to a T his entire career, how much, if at all, do you believe he's at fault versus the Yankees being at fault? Because we have seen a butting of heads in the past couple of years that you notice with him either calling out, the team or medical basically saying like, I'm healthy, I should be playing, I'm not, he's like, I should be out there, then he gets shut down. Like, I feel like this has been a roller coaster that's been brushed under the rug a little bit more than maybe some people realize. We've heard for the past couple of years now, Sevy and the Yanks having a butting of heads with like his health and his availability.
Bro, it like at some point, I think it becomes very confusing because obviously we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, right?
Right.
We can only assume at the end of the day. And when a player gets injured this often, it's like it becomes impossible for me to just brush off and be like, oh, injuries. I hate to blame it on the player, but I kind of have to blame it on the player, bro, because I feel like if Sevy wanted to be out there, he would be out there. You know what I mean? It's like the Yankees aren't holding him back because they just want to like not have him on the mound. You know what I mean? Probably towards the end of last season, that was the case, but
Yeah.
that would not be the case at all in years past. So yeah, I definitely think that there might be a problem there. Like with Sevy. I don't want to say that there's a problem with his mentality, but definitely injuries are an issue. And that's something where a 1-year deal, I guess it's fine, but that's why it's like if I'm looking at the Yankees and the Yankees want to take a 1-year deal on somebody to maybe fill that last rotation spot, I am going with Frankie Montas over Luis Severino 10,000 times out of 10,000 times, bro. Because we're looking at a guy who doesn't really have like the injury past that Sevy does. And also we never really saw him get his true opportunity as a Yankee, right? I mean, we saw Montas for a glass of water in 2022, came back in the postseason, didn't really get fully rehab, whatever. And then we saw him literally pitch a couple innings in 2023. So if I'm the Yankees, I'm probably going Montas over Sevy for that 1-year deal going into next year. But on the flip side, if I'm the Mets, I'm probably going Sevy over Montas because, like I said, change of scenery might be beneficial for Sevy.
Right.
We'll see.
And the funny thing about Montas is like from when the trade first happened, there was plenty of risk going in aside from his health. I don't know how much you recall this, but Frankie's numbers outside of Oakland were dog shit. Like not good at all. So it's interesting to hear from you that you still much rather take that flyer on a complete question mark who's done nothing truly productive for you guys yet, aside from maybe like 1 or 2 starts prior to his injury in a year and a half ago in Montas. But
bro, because Sevy's
Sevy,
cooked. He's cooked. Like, okay,
you think he's okay? So how about that? Are we talking cooked like I just went and heated up my leftovers cooked? Or are we talking like nah, you've been doing a fucking slow roast for hours cooked?
Yeah, bro. Sevy's like that meme that you'll see on Twitter sometimes where it's like the guy cooking the drumstick and
It's
then he
right
takes
off the bone.
and it slides. Bro, Sevy is so cooked. Listen, I'm sorry, any Mets fan who's like I've been sugarcoating it a little bit. Luis Severino's career will be over in less than 2 years. He is like on the same path as Michael Pineda, bro. I've been trying so hard to stay nice. This dude sucks. Like you're combining poor performance on the mound with the lack of staying healthy. He has zero chance of ever solidifying himself again as more than a 5 in a major league rotation. And you know what? I hope he makes me eat my words. But as of right now, there's nothing that tells me otherwise.
Are you just so? This is Dylan Betances, is what you're telling me.
This
is fucking Dylan Betances,
bro. That's the perfect comparison. Perfect comparison.
This is my fear. This is what I mean. These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Ian, please come on in. Come on down, boy. We'll have the red carpet for you.
Talk to me, little pup. Let's go.
Obviously, I'm going to go on a limb and say Pat's exaggerating a little bit on the Sevy front. But hey, if Sevy does retire like 2 years from now, Pat, I'll give you $100.
Deal. Let's go. Let's go, buddy.
Deal. Like in all seriousness, I think that there's plenty potential for Sevy short term. I love the idea of him as a reliever as well. But I'm also curious, given the fact that this pitching market's going to be expensive because there's not too much talent in there because it's very top heavy. You know, what is his biggest priority? Is his biggest priority 1, getting a payday? Is his biggest priority 2, being on a contending team, like his best chance to win, given the teams that show interest in him? Is it 3? Is it just career projection? No, he's only 29, can sign a flyer contract, have a bounce back year, and look for a multi-year deal after this upcoming season. Because that certainly plays a factor into like, okay, how do you plan on utilizing him? Because Sevy's a guy that I could easily see utilized in that 5th, 6th spot in a 6-man rotation, and then even need be down the stretch if you need him out of the pen. That very well could make sense. He's had previous success from the Yanks pen. No, back in 2021.
Yeah, 2021 and 2016.
And 2016. Do you know what the circumstances were for him to come out of the pen in those times? Was it just lack of consistency?
2016, he was awful. So they threw him in the bullpen. And then 2021, he was coming back from injury, and it was kind of like it was August, I think. And they didn't really have time to like build him up as a starter. So, bro, the Yankees 2021 bullpen. Yo, if we have any Yankee fans in the chat, I love that 2021 season, bro. Whatever. I'm done talking about Sevy. Can we like move on? I really can't stand this.
You love that 2021 season that ended like every other year? What's
so
like enjoyable about it? Like, wow,
well, it was a fun. No.
Stepped up for that pen. That's cool.
No, Wardy. If you were like, you know that
I was around. I was witnessing.
he's like, oh, he was special. That's what I look back at the 2021 Yankees like,
That was
bro.
the
They
team
were a
that should have
special
been
team.
in your eyes.
Yes. Well, no,
I
I
got
mean, no, not. I mean, they were kind of just like the wild card. Like, yo, if this team gets in, they could do damage. That's the way I view them. The team that should have won it all for the Yankees was 2019, by far.
I got you. Well, you know how to say, they should have won. I guess we'll never know. Now let's get into a comment from Jacob. Jacob, shout out you. Also, shout out Jacob in the live chat is the man who was able to make the thumbnail happen today for that beautiful Yamamoto graphic split Mets Yanks. Obviously, it should just be all Mets uniform. I'm just trying to be, understanding that we have Yanks fans watching. It's a Mets Yanks show. Yanks are involved. I get it. But let's be realistic. Is it really going to happen? No, he's going to be a Met. Come on. Then you have Sevy in a Mets uniform, which genuinely I don't love. I don't love it. But hey, they're showing interest, so we'll see what happens, right? What we do know, though, is that the New York Yankees have made a hire tonight. And that is former baseball manager Brad Ausmus is heading back to the Yanks, where he was formerly in the organization, as their new bench boss. So initial reaction from you, Pat. How do you feel about this? Do you really not give a damn? It's a bench boss. Okay, it only means so much. Like, what are the vibes like in Bronx for you?
I'm trying to think of like a nice way to say this. I don't care. Like, is that bad for me to say? Is like as a analyst, as a content creator, as a diehard Yankee fan, I genuinely don't care who the bench coach is. For all 3 times I might see this dude this season, obviously Brad Ausmus has managerial experience. What was he, the manager of the Astros,
Tigers, where he was horrendous. Angels. Let's go down. Let's see. As a manager, you have Tigers 2014, 2017, then 1 year with the Angels in 2019. And then he was with the Athletics last year as a bench coach.
Was he not with the Astros?
No.
At all?
No, he was a player with the Astros. Yeah, and then he was with the Yanks starting now. So
yeah. So I mean, obviously, like, he's bringing in some managerial experience. But he's not the choice who I wanted the Yankees to go with. I wanted them to go with a more old school route. I would have loved like Buck Showalter, Willie Randolph. I don't know, some other old guy. I think that would have been beneficial for the Yankees clubhouse to give him that like old school presence. The way I view Ausmus, granted, I don't know much about the dude, but he's not that old. He doesn't have that much experience. The way I'm viewing him is like Boone with a little bit more experience. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. And I wanted some like real old school guy who like was born before World War II even happened. So that's not what we got. It's okay.
It's fine to me. Ausmus was Ohtani's manager for a year, just saying. Granted, I don't think Ohtani was like, oh my God, bring Brad back after the 2019 season. But hey, I can see you throwing that in there just for the sake of doing it. What's funny though is, I mean, not funny, but Ausmus lives in New Haven, so with his family, so isn't far away from New York as
by
is.
the way. Horrible.
Do you just want to like log off now?
Bro, anybody who will sit here and tell you that New Haven pizza is the pizza capital of the world, it's disgusting, bro.
Wait. Before we get on this unnecessary tangent, because I'm right and you're wrong, what kind of pizza do you like? What's the style of pizza that's your favorite?
Probably I prefer my pizza not burnt to a crisp. I don't like crunchy.
Bro, it's coal fire, you stupid bastard. Holy shit.
I don't like my teeth being stained black after eating a slice of pizza, bro.
What, you think it's gonna stay a week? Brush your teeth, you dirty bastard. Like, come on, bro.
I'd rather not have to crunch my pizza with charcoal. Okay? I'm not saying I need it like super doughy.
Are you a thick or a thin pizza kind of guy? That could also be a question for a lot of other things.
Middle ground, but I lean on the thick side.
Exactly what I expected from you, Pat. Okay, well, that makes sense why you don't like New Haven pizza then. So
no, bro, I like thin pizza. I've enjoyed thin pizza before, just not burnt, bro. There's a difference between.
Okay, have you hit the go-tos in New Haven?
I went to Sally's.
Did you go to Pepe's?
Nope.
Did you go to Modern?
Nope.
Then shut up.
I refuse to try any other ones. because they're all the same style.
All right, let's just get on
Yeah.
to what's
Okay.
important here because you have no clue what you're talking about
Yo,
whatsoever.
alright.
Actually
Press
ridiculous.
press 1 if you like New Haven pizza, press 2 if you don't. Continue.
Okay, everyone in the live chat, you know the drill. Yoshima, thank you for the $2 holla. Yoshi, you love to see that. Let's see. Professional certified hater with $2 holla says Lindor got Jeff a base model Bronco cheap door. That's funny as shit. So for those that don't know, Francisco Lindor finally gifted Jeff McNeil the car he owed him when he said that if he won the batting title in the 2022 season, he'd gift him a car. Now a lot of fans speculate that he's getting himself a brand new sports car, whatever it's going to be. And over a year later, we fast forward and he has landed car. It's a new Bronco, which is nice. I know my brother would have loved one. He's been wanting the new Bronco since it came out. But if it's just the base model, that is a little funny. I can't confirm nor deny that. But finally done with that because fans had the audacity to say that, Lindor hates Jeff. Like he's not going to be a man of his word. He's not going to get him in his car. Like, one, he doesn't technically need to do anything for him. But two, it is pretty funny that this has finally come to an end. Just ridiculous. Oh, wow. You know what's funny, Pat? I'm looking in the live chat and all I see are ones. It's almost like you have the worst take of all time.
No, that's just
Dude, this is actually perfect for the show because you're bringing the that fan element, specifically with a W in front, where they just don't know what the hell they're saying, but they're out here with outrageous takes every night. Love that, Pat. Keep going. Keep chugging. I'm rooting for you. Brad Ausmus, your new bench boss in the Bronx. Speaking of a bench boss, the Mets are looking for one. And even though that Willie Randolph was in the rumblings over the past week, that is not going to happen. New reports from Newsday that came out right before we went live here state the following. Willie Randolph will not be joining the Mets as bench coach under new manager Carlos Mendoza, according to sources familiar with this situation. We're going down the list here further. He just says, we have a really good relationship, and I consider him not only as a mentor, but as a friend, Mendoza said. And of course, Randolph responded to that, and Randolph just said, if he needs anything, I'm here. But Willie's not going to be coming to Queens. But who may be coming into town is someone that you know a decent amount as well, former third base coach from 2018 to 2022 for the Yanks, and Phil Nevin. Most recently, the manager out there with the Halos. So, if the Mets land him, we're getting Ohtani too. You might as well just lock it in now because we got to go about the Ausmus way, right? So, if the Mets bring in Nevin here, they're going to bring in someone that has familiarity with Carlos Mendoza as they were working the same coaching staff together for those numbers of years there with the Yanks. But from a Yanks fan perspective, what do you know about Phil Nevin to this point, and how would you feel about him if he came in the Mets bench boss role here?
I think he'd be a pretty good bench coach, to be honest. And also, I don't know why you keep calling him a bench boss. I can't use that terminology. I just can't. You know why? Because it reminds me of Bagel Boss. And it's like the really small guy who got tackled by the big dude because he's like, I can't find any matches on dating sites. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, I'm not calling it a bench boss, but
just cue so you had a bad day in the background for him, like every day.
Bench coach, okay. I could see Phil Nevin doing a decent job. I don't think he was a great manager. I also don't think that he was actually a pretty bad third base coach, looking back on it.
Just fantastic.
His and whatnot. But I do think his overall leadership and I would say the gritness factor is there. It was widely known that when the Yankees needed someone to kind of put them in check in the clubhouse, Phil Nevin would be that guy. So I think being the bench coach is a solid role for him because he doesn't really have to make that managerial decisions. He doesn't have to wheel people home at third base, but he could also kind of set people in check from the clubhouse when he needs to. So yeah, I think if the Mets did go this route and Phil Nevin was their bench boss, I think if I were a Mets fan, I'd be satisfied with that. But then again, last thing I will say is the Mets are kind of really feeding into that little brother narrative by just getting every single one of our rejects, bro.
Is it a reject issue or is it Brian Cashman being stubborn and not getting rid of dead weight in Aaron Boone the past 5+ years issue?
No, it's sloppy seconds, bro.
You really think?
Yeah.
So you think Thompson sloppy seconds?
No. That's one of the only one. But I'm talking he's not a Met, you know what I mean?
You know who started the sloppy seconds thing since you and I started content, right? It was the Yanks. You guys freaking took Louis Rojas right away.
Yeah, but that's after the Mets had already taken Dellin and Adam Ottavino.
No, but I'm talking about
And
coaching staff here. I'm not talking about players because that we can go down the whole laundry list in that case.
well, if we did go down that, then the Mets obviously took a lot more than the Yankees did. Just saying.
I mean, probably, yeah. And the Yanks also definitely didn't hurt having the Strawberries and the Goodens of the world. You
Yeah,
know?
but bro, we weren't even alive for that. So it's like, I mean,
You're like, does it really matter? Like, I
no,
was just born.
dude, the way I view baseball is like, if I wasn't alive for it, it didn't happen. I don't care. Like,
Omar
in my
Minaya.
mind,
That's another one.
okay, yeah, sure.
That's actually a very good one. Shout out to you, Yuki Matsui in the chat. Appreciate that. That's a good comment that I wasn't even thinking about. Anyways, Nevin, while he might not have been a great third base coach, and he did just lose the managerial opening with the Padres because they decided to stay internally and going with Mike Shildt, which I actually think is the right move for the Padres based on the two options. I would not have wanted Nevin over Shildt in that situation, hiring manager. Also, highly important, all you baseball fans, just get real for a second. Try to watch the presser that they had today with AJ Preller and Mike Shildt. It was, it definitely was unfortunate to see how emotional things were, but definitely just kind of puts things in perspective a bit. Preller talking about, his relationship with Seidler got choked up a little bit too, and just kind of the Padres mentality heading into the next year and them trying to do right by their owner, who was nothing short of a fantastic human being from everything that I've heard. But getting back into Nevin here, one, that relationship with Mendoza is key to me. I want Mendoza to be as comfortable as possible. That is like priority number one. Would I have loved Willie Randolph? Yes, of course I would have. But Nevin, a guy who literally just managed in baseball this past season, has managed the past 2 years with Shohei Ohtani especially, does entice me. Now, of course, Nevin wasn't a great manager. They had losing seasons in both those years, but he also wasn't supposed to be the guy either. And if you look at the roster around him, you look at the amount of injuries, you look at the bad contracts, and you look at just the incompetence and having poor roster construction, having like 10 third basemen, just a bunch of first basemen. Like when they were trading for CJ Cron after already having Brandon Drury and then having Hunter Renfroe and like all these things, like nothing was really, they were just grabbing guys for the sake of grabbing guys, but there was no structure to it. And I know that actually sounds horrendous now that I backtrack and think about it. So they went and they acquired players, multiple players. So we'll go with that one too. Hey, if you like grabbing guys, you like grabbing guys. I can't relate, but you know what, Pat, if that's your thing, bro, hey, that's cool too.
No, yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, that's all I got. But final thing I'll say on the Phil Nevin front, I would not be against that pickup, especially a guy who just had managerial experience. I would like someone in there that has that experience, knowing what he can rely on, what worked for him, what didn't work for him, while also already having that strong relationship with Mendoza as is. So we'll find out exactly who the Mets are going to hire in this position. But personally, as a Mets fan, I'm not opposed to whatsoever. And for those that wonder, okay, how much say or pull can a bench coach have? I think Mendoza is a great example, as Carlos Mendoza was the driver behind all team meetings for the Yanks during his time as bench boss. Like, he was really constructing a lot. He was collaborative with the front office, would by all means not hold back from sharing differing opinions, especially if you want to go against the numbers at times, which Mendoza has no problem doing, which I think is important. You want that type of pushback. So Nevin, you're telling me that this was the guy to kind of try to get a fire under the team's ass or wake them up a little bit when things were going right. 2018 to 2022, that had that 2021 Yanks team in there. There were some very talented Yanks teams during that time. They fell short all those years, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot of them were uber talented and unfortunately for their sake just couldn't get the job done what it mattered most. But in their defense, that's the case with most teams in baseball, right? How many teams have we seen over the past decade plus, like every year, that just dominate regular season, but unfortunately just cannot get over that hump, whether it's the first round or in the Yanks case, the Astros, right? So, and again, I know it stings, but you can't, like, the Astros are the Astros though. They will always be your daddy, and that's okay. The same way that you can continue to say that, hey, you're a big brother. Continue with that energy for as long as you can, because I really don't think it's going to last much longer personally. So that's why I'm not really fazed by you making those remarks. Like, whoop-de-doo, wow, we're in the same spot again. Who would have thought that both the Mets and the Yanks wouldn't make playoffs heading into this past year?
Yeah, no, we both just suck. That's what it is.
Seriously,
it's like little brother and big brother, like, both grew up and now they're like the same age and they're both extremely down bad in life. That's what it is.
It really is. The worst part, though, you want to know the worst part? You and I, we knew the issues with both teams heading into the year. us Mets fans were excited because of having Verlander in the rotation and fill in for Jake and really reconstructing the rotation. While there's a lot of risk, there's potential involved, but the bats weren't changing. So we were just kind of hoping that we would have found our magic from the first half of 2022 again, when it was more the issues post second half 2022. Yanks, what do you guys have an issue? You don't have any consistent power outside of Aaron Judge. You don't have that it factor, that clutch factor outside of him. When you have had at times with Giancarlo, once you get Alonso?
No, once we get Juan Soto.
I was about to say, once you get Alonso, you of all people are starting to advocate for Pete Alonso. I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you real quick. As much as you don't like Pete Alonso and you find him cringy, and I can understand the cringe aspects, even though I think he gets far more flack than he deserves, just because it's the Mets. I think people like to put that on more of a pedestal. Him as a player, you would love him on the Yanks, wouldn't you?
No, bro, you're looking at the guy who doesn't like Anthony Volpe because I think that he's like cringe. You know what I mean? It's like, you think I'm going to like Pete Alonso just because he's a New York Yankee? No. If anything, it would make me.
But I think there's a difference, though, between a rookie and Anthony Volpe, who put up a solid rookie year, versus the best home run hitter in baseball since the start of the 2019 season.
I don't think so. I think I'd still like look at Pete and be like, yo, this dude's such a doofus. Okay. Let's say Garrett Cole was a New York Met.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. You hate Garrett Cole. I'm so jealous. I want to be him. I want to lick his mouth.
Here's the thing, though. I would still, if he's a Met, though, I would still root for him because I care about the Mets more than I do the individual player.
I would root for Pete Alonso to do well because it means the Yankees would do well. But I
still don't fuck with him.
Yeah, sure.
I still don't mess with him. He would have to sway me. Am I gullible because I'm just a stupid fan? Of course I am. You know, but I digress. Still, don't get me started on Garrett right now. Get that freaking Kermit schmuck out of here. This guy is a great representation of the Yankees. I'm sure that's not a comment. That isn't the way that's coming off as, but I appreciate that, G. 1200 with the $5 house says, Yanks will always be number 2. Never had Saint Sapaki. If you know, you know.
What does that mean?
Okay, so to fill you in briefly, and then I want us to answer chat live comments in the chat. So guys, if you have any questions regarding what's going on with the Mets and the Yanks, you want to hear our opinions, ask them now before we wrap things up and get out of here. Let's see. Oh wait, someone said, Tyler, did you see the baseball hut was talking smack to you and Pat called you guys? Who the hell even is that?
Why'd they call us munchkins, Wardy?
Oh no, what will I do? Because a YouTuber that no one watches has an opinion that I don't like. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, what will I do? The great baseball hut doesn't like WardyNYM. Doesn't like Pat Hennessy. Oh, I'm not gonna get any sleep tonight. I don't know about you, Pat.
I never get sleep, so yeah, it's just much of the usual, you know.
That's true. I mean, you don't have to make it serious. You ruin the moment. No, it's fine. What were you? Zappucki. So Thomas Zappucki was a starting pitcher in the Mets organization that made his MLB debut last June against the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. Was rushed up because of injury, because of injury from the rotation, rather. And he got his tits slit so bad in the first inning and a half, I can't even begin to tell you. Funny enough, he would be traded with JD Davis like a month or two later for Darren Ruff. And since then, this ongoing joke that 1200 follower of mine has had is like, damn, everything could have been okay if you just had Thomas Zappucki. So this has been going on for a hot minute now, but I appreciate that donation. No, really does mean a lot.
Story I'll never get back. So thank you for that, Wardy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's it.
Could we we should do like rapid fire?
Yeah, we can do rapid fire for sure. Just rapid fire questions and answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just we make sure like everyone gets satisfied, Yeah. I'm a man of the people, sure.
Let's see here.
Is that a Chick-fil-A cup? It is? Yeah?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I'm not going to put you on blast. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you. Got nervous for a second. Let's see. Hut is such a bad baseball channel. No, I really wouldn't know. I've only heard about him a couple times, but I just don't. It's always funny when other YouTubers have the audacity to put my name in their mouth as if they know me or anything like that. Like, wait,
Oh,
let's start that. Let's do that. You think I give a shit, bro? Like, so stupid. Do you think Yamamoto signs with the Mets? Yes. I hope so.
No.
Okay. Someone says, Wardy, did you know Patrick doesn't like burgers?
That's true. Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
It's not that I don't
you know,
like them. I don't eat
I
red
can't
meat.
judge you
so.
too much. Like people care about their health nowadays. I don't nearly as much as I should, but I
Yeah,
commend
with
you
the
if that plays a factor at
XL
all.
Chick-fil-A lemonade. Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, wait.
Maybe
I have a question for you. Let
Yeah.
me give you like the icing on the cake question because we got to wrap things up. So we're talking about like beef with YouTubers. If you could call out one YouTuber to box, who would it be?
If I could call out one YouTuber to box, who would it be?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got to be this Hut guy. It's
Yeah?
got to be this Hut guy. If you're talking shit, get ready for the
What if he
smoke.
was like
That's all you gotta say.
6'5", 300 pounds?
Bro, I'm quick. I don't care. Dude, I did Kung Fu until I was like 13. I could take on anything. Are you kidding me?
Okay, buddy.
You really think you're going to mess with like a solid yellow sash right now, bro? Palm block to your nose. You're done. It's over. It's over. Now, could you have just kicked me before I even got close to you? Very solid possibility. But no, I mean, I'm 100% flexing that Kung Fu on you that I barely remember to this day. So, what about you? Who is your YouTuber that you would love to box if you could?
I have one, and he's in our space, but I feel like I really want the fight to happen, so I'm not gonna say it right now. But let's just say he talks.
Do you think
a
that
lot.
there's actually a possibility?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a good possibility. No, I think he would be too scared, but I think that
Is
there's
this someone that you've worked with before?
no.
Okay. All right, then I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck him. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. That's that. That's all. That's all I got. Okay, final thing I will say too, because I should have been more mindful of this. Going back to the baseball hut guy, because I really do not know him well. No. Final thing I'll say, because someone said that in the chat, like what he said. But I did just remember that when I started YouTube in the first year, there were a lot of people that went out of their way in the live chat to act as if a fellow YouTuber said something when they didn't. So I'm going with that reaction with the assumption that what was said is true. If it isn't, then I sincerely apologize. Because again, I don't know. I'm just taking this on face value as people are saying in the live chat. You could tell me right now that like my boy Robbie High just talked all this shit. I wouldn't believe that because like Robbie and I are like this. But the point is though, especially if I didn't know them, I may believe it at first. So that is the only thing I'll clarify. But if he was talking shit, then yeah, I don't hold back anything I said. that's all I got. I don't really think there's anything much more that needs to be added aside from the fact that Thanksgiving is this Thursday. So Pat, what are you most thankful for as a New York Yankees fan this offseason?
This offseason? Could it just be like in general?
Yeah, you could be in general.
Okay.
Fine.
I am so thankful. Well, listen, I am thankful for our show, Wardy. I think that this is a great new beginning. But as far as the Yankees go, I'm thankful for our unanimous American League Cy Young Garrett freaking Cole. Wardy,
Dude,
I love you. Wardy, I'm going to make you hot chocolate with mini marshmallows. I'm the best pitcher in baseball.
Actually,
love
you fed
Garrett
into it
Cole.
so well. You did the voice for me, so I'm really not mad. Actually, I'm thankful for that. So I really don't know if there's much more that I need to add. As a Mets fan, what I am most thankful for is being able to talk about them for a living. Because even if they end up being a shit show, this is not something where a lot of fans have the luxury of being able to do, let alone being able to do it to the length that I have over the past number of years. So that is what I'm certainly most thankful for, is just everything that the platform has built, has given me, and of course, has just changed my life forever, including meeting this beautiful schmuck that we're doing a weekly podcast with, which is going exactly how you think it'd go.
That's so nice.
Nody says this guy's insufferable. Which one, Nody? Let me know. If it's me,
not me. Nope.
If it's
not
me, then fuck off. But if it's Pat, then I agree. So let me know which one it is.
Nope.
Mrs. Super Chat, I did answer that, Patrick. Thank you. Also, apologies for the profanity, guys, if in case you're not comfortable with that. We don't really hold things back too much when it comes to the pod either. This format is not the same format like the other typical live shows we do on the channel. Would like to emphasize that this is its own thing, and we have so much fun doing it and just being our normal fan self. So that is what I'll leave you with. I don't know who Nody hates, but any final remarks before we get out of here, Pat?
No, just love you all. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 2. I love I love all you guys. Mets fan, Yankee fans, Nody, I love you, even though you might not like me. I love every single one of you so damn much. Hope everyone has a beautiful Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time. Take some time, sit back, eat a turkey leg or 2, and we will see you all next week, baby.
All right, 2 things, Dave. I mean, not Dave, Pat, because Dave just donated $5. Don't like burgers, dude? That's un-American. What do you like, hummus?
No, I don't like hummus. Actually, it's too mushy for my liking. I don't like mushy foods. The only mushy food I'll eat is avocado.
Nody then said the Yanks guy is who he's referring to, but F off right back. That's funny. That's great, actually. All right, beautiful end to the show. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the latest episode sometime next week, probably either Tuesday or Thursday. Hope everyone has a phenomenal Thanksgiving. For people that don't check out the content that comes out prior, we will have a video or live show out tomorrow on WardyNYM. That is Patrick Hennessy. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube. If you're not already, you're a schmuck. And again, thank you in advance. This is your boy Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets. F the Yanks. Screw them.